All right, so just watch this video. Is unconditional love toxic and unhealthy? Well, for most people who grow up in a codependent dynamic, it's gonna seem that way because unconditional love is like saying, I'm a doormat and you can railroad me and I'm gonna love you no matter what you do to me. But so this is the inherent problem with this mentality, because I mean, if that's all you've ever known, your idea of love doesn't incorporate other things like boundaries and respect. So unconditional love has nothing to do with performance. Let's establish that first. So someone is lovable. You can love your enemy. You can love anybody. You can have unconditional love for your child, for your spouse, for your parents, for a friend, and you love them. But equating that to being a doormat now that's completely different. So when you love somebody, do you want to roll over in every situation and allow the relationship to degrade? No. When you love somebody, you want the best for the relationship. You want the best for them. You want the best for yourself, because that is what makes a best relationship. And it's not best from the lens of trauma, from trying to protect yourself, building walls up and trying to protect yourself from feeling something that has nothing to do with that specific relationship, but has everything to do with your childhood. So let's just remove that from the equation altogether. But love itself, as I said, it's considering what is best. And so sometimes having a boundary is best. That is very loving. It's very loving to tell somebody no sometimes. It's very loving to tell somebody yes sometimes when you don't feel it. But if you have a problem standing up for yourself because you grew up in a home where standing up for yourself meant you would be abandoned or rejected or invalidated, then you learn to be lovable. You have to perform. You have to do all the work in the relationships. And then you think that that's what love is, and you play out this dynamic and you find somebody who learns instead that they need everyone else to do the work for them to be lovable, to find out that it's safe to let their guard down. And will somebody fight for me? And the other person is fighting for them and trying to prove that they're lovable by doing all of the work. And that is a codependent relationship. And that is 99% of all relationships probably. But that's not what love is. Love is outside of that. Love is no matter what you've done or no matter what you will do, I will still love you. But boundaries and healthy respect are also part of that. You have to be able to maintain intimacy with somebody and to act lovingly towards them. You have to have boundaries. You have to have self-respect. Because if you're not able to do that, you're not protecting the best in the relationship. You're not even looking out for them. You're actually looking out for yourself if you're boundaryless and you're acting from a place of fear and you're believing that you're being loving and you just want someone to love you the way that you're loving everyone else. And it feels so real and it feels that way, but you don't value yourself because your value was taught in your childhood that your feelings don't matter, that you only matter if you make everyone else feel safe. So to chase that valuing, you're playing out this dynamic thinking that you're being loving and then finding out that, oh, it's just easier. Either A, I keep ending up in that pattern and I let go of that need and I keep suffering. And you might even incorporate your faith into that and try to, and like have this lens of distortion that you even think that you're faith. I know a lot of Christians do that, but ultimately you're not acting loving when you're acting from fear. Even if it's subconscious, that's not love at all. You might love that person the best way that you know how, but unconditional love in itself isn't predicated on any performance. It's completely outside of that. It doesn't keep a record of wrongs. It doesn't keep a record of any of rights or wrongs as a measurement of whether someone is lovable or you are lovable. And in a healthy, intimate relationship, so just as easy example, looking at it from parent to child, your child's not going to be perfect. And if you turn off your love for your child every time they make a mistake, they're going to learn that life is about performance. But if that's what you learn, that's what you're going to do. Instead, you draw closer to them in their emotional needs while also having boundaries. And that validates that they matter outside of their performance. They know that they're safe not being perfect. They can feel that they don't have to be perfect, and that allows them to integrate the bad and good parts of themselves and the bad and good parts of others. But if you don't give your child that, then they're going to have trouble integrating bad and good parts of others and the bad and good parts of themselves when performance doesn't measure up. Then they're going to believe that that's what love is. So it's either going to be, no matter how hard I try, it's not enough, or I've got to keep jumping through hoops. But you'll hear things like, I'm a strong, independent person. I don't need anybody. And okay, sure. I mean, ultimately, we want to get to the space where we don't need anybody, but we don't want to need anybody for validation. Because once you get to the space of growing in a healthy family, if you ever did or you ever will, which most of us never will, but you know what it feels like to feel heard and seen. Then when someone else doesn't value your vulnerability, then you know the problem is them. You're not jumping through hoops to matter. You're not jumping through hoops to measure up to expectations. You're not guarding yourself from not being perfect, or not guarding yourself from wait, okay. You're trying to be perfect and you don't want to let your guard down. That's the opposite. That's what I was trying to say. Anyhow, unconditional love has nothing to do with performance. And if you don't have love, then you've got nothing. It's all an illusion. It's all, I can't let my guard down, and it's all fear-based. So does unconditional love exist? Absolutely, hands down. And it is the only way to live in connection with others and have intimacy. But you also have to have boundaries. And if you don't have boundaries, that has nothing to do with love. That's fear-based. So yes, unconditional love absolutely exists and is healthy.